Go Bears alums. I'm with Joe,
Go Bears.
Cal student, and he's going to tell us about the sit-in here at our beloved Wheeler Hall. And Joe, I admire what you all are doing. Give us a
Thank you very much. First of all, it's absolutely a pleasure to know that the alumni are so much in support. The UC Berkeley community goes beyond any one generation, and it's a treasure for the state of California, and it's a downright shame that that sort of public institution is being privatized and losing so much of what its original goal was from the UC Constitution back in the 19th century to the master plan. All of that's being betrayed. So I guess that sort of general principle is why we're here.
How did it start and where are we now? And I'm going to say, folks, when I went to Cal for a master's degree, this was 74% funded by the state of California. Big change.
Yeah, actually, you can see in the last, probably only 10 to 15 years, a marked, almost inverse of strategy of funding in the UC system, and beyond actually in CSU and city colleges as well, just higher education in general in California. From state funding, which sort of makes sense as a public institution in the federal, system, the model became more and more based on tuition. This also happened to coincide with a certain change in administrative rationality. Yeah. So instead of regarding the task of education as, creating full citizens who are able to engage in public debate and govern themselves to a certain extent responsibly and with all of that.
Right.
Making good character, basically. The old ideals of liberal education, liberal arts. We moved away from that towards a certain kind of neoliberal rationality, I would say, and that goes with the privatization model. So in that way of thinking about it, the university's goal is actually to be as streamlined and efficient as possible. The goal is to become like a business. And quite literally, actually, from Mark Yudoff to, actually maybe even before him, but Mark Yudoff, our former UC president, and certainly Jeanette Napolitano, our current UC president, and too many, if not all, UC Regent board members to name, are all involved in beyond conflicts of interest. I mean, just explicit programs to bring these things about.
I'm curious. I saw a sign out there that said repeal Prop 13. I remember when Prop 13 was passed, and I was in Skyline High, and I told this person, hey, it's going to wreck our education system. Yeah. So is that what you all want to see, the repeal of Prop 13, since it's basically a...
That is, I would say that, I should also mention, it's probably a little late in this, with these sorts of movements, in no way does any individual that happens to get chosen to do an interview representative of the collective goal or anything.
Thank you.
I'm just one perspective and all of that. But I would say, and this is based on what I've heard from a lot of people, we don't want to limit ourselves to one legislative option, but we are, of course, willing to push for a multitude of them and other forms of pressure and activity and basically broadening political consciousness and imagination as far as possible. So repealing Prop 13 would be an absolutely great thing to have done there. Also, what we're stressing on the legislative front is holding the regents accountable to, I believe it was called AB 94, exactly, the transparency of budget bill, which it's just a criminal offense that they actually just are not following it, basically.
What are the next steps?
Next steps? Well, I mean, in terms of what's actually being planned at the moment, we are having a walkout tomorrow. We've been outreaching for that all weekend, and I suppose the goal is to generate enough awareness, both nationally. Actually, we have it international too. If you want to look over here at this.
Sure, right here.
Yeah.
For Ferguson,
it's very interesting. It's very interesting. The reason that's there is actually because it has some aspect of a quote from professors and students in Cairo who sent us a letter.
It'd be a bit of an irony if the verdict for Ferguson was announced on the same day, wouldn't it?
It would.
Wow.
It absolutely would.
Alums who want to help, what should they do? Cal alums.
Yeah, there is the thing. So we have a suggested set of talking points if you would like to join the Teamsters Union in making basically just a mass flood of calls to Jerry Brown's office for an hour, expressing...
Or tweets?
Tweets are great. Anything like that. Just indignation about this.
Sorry, Governor.
Affects all of us.
I used to work for the governor.
Oh, fair enough. how that all works, that sort of thing really hits them home, because when they see these different constituencies, these different parties, actually realizing that they all have a common concern, it has to make an impact.
I'm curious, is there a web page that one can go to that sort of serves as a home for all the...
Yeah. We have a few. I think the best is probably theopenuc.wordpress.com. That was an old website.
Theopenuc.wordpress.com. Perfect.
That was an old website that was used in 2011, 2009, and it's been rehatched for this, which also goes to show that these fee hikes are a continuing issue. They keep being brought back up. And every time it takes struggle and resistance to make them stop. And as soon as that ends up lax, they're back. And that's the strategy. Yep.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, alums. Hey, Joe, go Bears.
Go Bears.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Thank you very much.
Thanks.